Hi students, in previous class we studied about the types of pollination, self-pollination, cross-pollination and geitonogamy. Already we discussed about that. Now agents of pollination by the different types of factors, abiotic and biotic factors. So how many types of pollinations are there? We are going to see that in this class. So actually plants use two abiotic factors. Two abiotic factors are involved in the pollination. One is wind and water, and one biotic factor, that is animal. Different types of animals are involved in the pollination process. Already you know that what is a pollination? Transfer of pollen grain from one flower to other flower stigma of the other flower. Then the pollen grain is deposited on the stigma of the flower. So like that the pollen grain is deposited. Means first of all, in pollination the pollen grains transferred from one flower to stigma of the another flower, and then the pollination takes place. That is the pollination. So what are the agents of the pollination? Abiotic agents, wind and water. Biotic, animals, different types of animals. Let us see what are those later. So first one is wind. Wind is a abiotic factor which is involved in the pollination. The pollination by wind is called as anemophily. The pollen grains are transferred from one flower to the another flower through air. Then it is called as a anemophily. Through the air, that is called anemophily. And flowers are called as a anemophilous flowers. So the flowers which are involved in the anemophily, they are called as anemophilous flower. So example, cereal plants, maize, cereal plants like maize, paddy, like that, etc. So this anemophily is also found in all the gymnosperms. Most of the gymnosperms follow the anemophily. This anemophilous plant produce enormous amount of the pollen grain, because when they release enormous number of the pollen grain, at least few number of the pollen grain can reach to the stigma of the flower, so that they release more number of pollen grains, more amount of the pollen grains, because they are releasing the pollen grains into the air. So in those, some of them are not reached to the stigma. Because of that, they release more pollen grain. At least in that few number of pollen grains, whatever the required number of pollen grains can be reached to the stigma of the flowers. So that is why they produce number of pollen grains. The pollen grains are the characters of the pollen grain. If we see, those are very small, otherwise they cannot fly in the air. So very small, lightweight, very small. The characters of the pollen grains which are transferred through the air: small, lightweight and dry. They are not sticky, they are non-sticky, dry. So lightweight, small, dry, non-sticky, and their stigma is large, hairy, feathery, bushy and mucilaginous. The stigmas are hairy, large hairy, hair-like structures are present. feathery, feather-like structures are present, bushy and mucilaginous. Some jelly material is present on the surface of the stigma. Then only they trap the pollen grains, which are present in the air. Otherwise it is not possible, because of that stigma of the recipient flower is sticky. Very important point here. So yellow clouds are formed in the sky during the wind pollination in Pinus. Yellow clouds are formed in the sky during the wind pollination in Pinus. These yellow clouds are formed due to the pollen grains, which is called as a sulfur shower. And anemophilous flowers are neither attractive nor with fragrance. They do not have nectar gland. Neither attractive nor with fragrance. They are not having any attractive features, and with fragrance they are not releasing any fragrance. They do not have nectar gland. Nectar means which secrete the honey. So they are not having those characters, because they are not depending on the insect. They are depending on the wind, so that they are not having this attractive features, and fragrance is not released and nectar is not released, because no nectar glands. Anemophilous flowers are mostly unisexual plants. So example: maize, sugarcane, bamboo, coconut, cannabis, grasses, date palm, taipa, papaya, mulberry. And most of the wind pollinated flowers generally have a single ovule in each ovary. They have only one ovule. In their ovary. Very important need point here. What are the need point here? Anemophilous flowers are not attractive, no fragrance, do not have nectar flower. Anemophilous flowers are unisexual, and wind pollinated flowers generally have the single ovule in their ovary. Very important point. Wind pollinated, and one more important point in this: wind pollinated pollen grains are very small, lightweight, and dry and non-sticky, and the recipient stigma has large, hairy, feathery, bushy, and mucilaginous or sticky character. These are the very important need points in this anemophilus. Pollination by wind more common amongst the abiotic pollination. Example: so Potamogeton, Myriophyllum are aquatic plants, but they follow anemophilus. These plants are aquatic plants, but they follow anemophilous flower. It is also one of the important point for NEET. So this is about the wind pollination. Next. So next type of pollination is hydrophily. Hydrophily means by water. The pollination by water. So when the pollination brings by water, it is called as a hydrophily. The pollination by water is quite rare in flowering plant and is limited to about 30 genera, mostly in monocotyledon. It is limited to about 30 genera, mostly in monocotyledon. In these cases, the pollen is usually without exine. It is a very important point. So in these cases, the pollen is usually without in exine. So all the aquatic plants use water for pollination. Not all aquatic plants use water for pollination. Some of the aquatic plants, they are aquatic plants, but they are not following the water for their pollination. They are depending on the insect. In majority of aquatic plants such as water hyacinth, terror of Bengal, and water lily, and flowers emerge above the level of water and are pollinated by the insect or wind, as in most of the land plants. So other example, Potamogeton, Nymphaea, Alisma, Typha. Most of the aquatic plants follow the water pollination, but some of the aquatic plants like water hyacinth, water lily, they are following some other type of water pollination, maybe insect pollination or wind pollination, because their flowers are emerged above the level of water, so that they are present above the water. Because of that, they are depending on the wind or insect pollination. Example, Potamogeton, Nymphaea, Alisma, Typha. In most of the water pollinated species, pollen grains are protected from wetting by mucilaginous covering. Very, very important point this one. Because the mucilaginous cover is present around the pollen grains. The mucilaginous cover is present around the pollen grain, because it cannot show, water cannot show any effect on the pollen grain. Water has different types of chemical. These chemical may show some effect on the pollen grains. Because of that, it is covered by some wet layer, that is a mucilaginous covering. So actually the hydrophily is two types. Epihydrophily one type. Epihydrophily. Hypohydrophily. Epihydrophily. Hypohydrophily. So what is meant by epihydrophily? Epihydrophily means pollination takes place on surface of water. Surface of the water. On the surface of water, so the pollination takes place, not inside the water. On the surface of water, pollination takes place. That is called as a epihydrophily. Example, Vallisneria. Vallisneria is a dioecious plant and flowers are unisexual. Vallisneria is a submerged plant, submerged aquatic plant. It is a dioecious plant. Dioecious plant means both the male and female reproductive organs are present in the two different plants, so that the flowers are unisexual. They are unisexual. So this unisexual flowers, that means male flowers, are detached from the mother plant and reach to the water surface. The male flowers of the Vallisneria detached from the mother plant and reach to the water surface. And next, the pedicel of the female flowers are long. The pedicel of the female flowers are long coil, and due to the uncoiling, they also reach to the water surface. So female flowers have pedicel is long because of that long coiled structure. Due to that, they reach to the surface of the water. The male flowers are carried to the female flowers by water. Whenever the male and female flowers are present on the surface of water, they carry the pollen. See, these are the male anthers, ripe anthers. So these are the stigma of the female flowers. So these pollen grains are the anthers releases the pollen grain when they move through the water and reach to the stigma of the flowers, so that it is a epihydrophily. It is seen in the Vallisneria. This is a submerged plant. Actually, this is a submerged plant. Both the male and female reproductive organs are present in the two different plants. It is a dioecious plant. so that they have a unisexual flower. Unisexual flower. This is about the epihydrophyly. Epihydrophyly. So next, hypohydrophyly. Hypohydrophyly means when the pollination takes place inside the water, then it is called as a hypohydrophyly. Inside the water. It is not on the surface of water. Inside the water it takes place. Example, Ceratophyllum zostera hydrilla plant. Ceratophyllum zostera and hydrilla plant. Next type of pollination is zoophyly. You know the meaning of the zoophyly is in the word only. Zoo means animals. Phyly means through the animals there is a pollination. When the pollination brings by animal, then it is called as a zoophyly. So generally, zoophilous plant flowers are very large, attractive nectar glands are present. Zoophilous flowers are actually these are very large and attractive, and nectar glands are present. Otherwise, they cannot attract the insect or they cannot attract the animals for the pollination. So they have a bright features and attractive colors and nectar gland. When they have a nectar, the insect come to that visit to that flower and collect the nectar. While collecting nectar, the pollen grains are attached to the parts of the insect or animals. When it is moved from one flower to other flower, the pollen grains are reached to the stigma of the another flower. So that they have attractive features. Nectar gland very large flowers. So next, Entomophilous means the pollination takes place through the insects. That is called as a Entomophilous. The pollination takes place with the help of insect is called as a Entomophilous. Most of the insect pollination occurs only by the honeybees. 80% of the insect pollination takes place by honeybees. Most of entomophilous plants are ornamental plants. Ornamental means these are we grow in our surrounding for beauty purpose. So decorative plants, ornamental plants. So these ornamental plants utilize their maximum energy in this pollination and develop different types of adaptation for the attraction of insects. So they have different adaptation to attract the insects. So what are those? These flowers are attractive in color. They possess a special fragrance. They have attractive flowers in their colors and possesses some special fragrance. Nectar glands are also present. Nectar is also synthesized. That means honey is synthesized there. Because of this nectar gland, honey is synthesized. They are attractive in color, possesses special fragrance, special type of smells are there, due to that insects are attracted. Example for this: lemon, coriander, onion, lobia, apple, pear, sunflower and labiati family, cucumber, cotton, tobacco, eucalyptus and brassica. Example. So these are the example for the entomophily. Coming to the one more point is that the pollen grains of insect pollinated flowers become sticky due to the presence of pollen kit. You know that already we discussed the pollen kit is present, oily layer. So because of this pollen kit, the pollen grains are attached to the parts of the animal or insect. Otherwise they cannot attach, they cannot transfer through the animals. So that they have a pollen kit. That pollen sticky kit is attached to the pollen, attached to the animal, through the animal, then through the animal these are transferred. So characteristic features of flowers in pollinated by insects. This is a very important for the board examination. Very important 5 marks question or 3 marks question for the board examination. So what are those? Majority of insect pollinated flowers are large sized. They are large sized, very large sized flowers. Otherwise they cannot insect cannot be attracted by the flowers. And small sized flowers are clustered in it to a inflorescence. Small sized flowers are clustered and form one structure that is called as an inflorescence. Colorful and fragrance. They have a colorful structures and fragrance they have. They have good smell. Nectar is present. So means nectar is synthesized in these flowers. Sticky pollen grains. They have a sticky nature of the pollen grain. This sticky nature of the pollen grain helps in the attachment of the pollen grain to the animals or insect. Foul odor flowers if pollinated by flies and beetle. Very, very important. Foul odor, bad smell if it is pollinated by flies and beetle. So these are the characteristic features of the flowers pollinated by insect. So floral rewards for insect: nectar, pollen, safe place to the lay eggs. Example, Amarpophallus. Here, and Pronupa is a moth, lays its eggs in the ovary of yucca plant. So Pronupa is a moth. It is one of the moth, lay the eggs in the ovary of the yucca plant, and its flower get pollinated by the moth. Both the organism cannot complete their life cycle without each other. So this moth is get shelter in the ovary of the yucca plant. This moth involved in the pollination. When they move from this flower to that flower, they carry the pollen grains and then get pollinated. The organism complete their life cycle without each other. Both of these organisms cannot complete their life cycle without each other. So that is the character. The moth deposits its eggs in the locule of the ovary, and the flower in turn get pollinated by moth. So the moth deposits eggs in the locule of the ovary, and the flower in turn get pollinated by moth. The larva of the moth, when they comes out of the eggs, as seeds start developing. When yucca plant start seeds developing, the moth of the larva come out of the eggs. So such a way both of these organisms complete their life cycle with helping one and each other. Next, pollen or nectar robbers. Insect which consume pollen or nectar without bringing about pollination. These are called as a pollen robbers or nectar robbers. So that is about that. Next, insect carry the pollen grains. The insect carry the pollen grains. The birds which carry the pollen grains. That is called it as the type of pollination is called as ornithophyly. Ornithophyly. When the process of pollination takes place. Example, sunbird and hummingbird in begonia plant. Sunbird and hummingbird in begonia plant. Honeybird in Sterlichia. Bottle brush in Callistemon. So that is about the ornithophyly. Chiropterophyly means if the pollination carried by the bats. Bats are the pollinating agent here. It is called as a chiropterophyly. So flowers are big in size. The flowers are big in size. Example, Anthocephalus, Bauhinia, Kygelia, Adansonia are the example for the Chiropterophyly. Next, Myrmecophyly. The pollination bring about by termites or ants. This is called as a Myrmecophyly. Example, Prosopis and Acacia. So next, Melacophyly means through the snails. The pollination brings about by the snail is called as a Melacophyly. Example, Lemna chrysanthemum. So this is about this class, today's class. Thank you.